She makes like video content of old games, like
I'm sorry,
Juggernaut.
baby.
If you're gonna have these conversations, can you please let me know?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're being insanely loud.
I am. I'm sorry. I was too loud, guys.
I gotta feel in trouble.
I'm sorry. My wife wants to go to sleep. I'm sorry, guys.
Good stuff there. Okay, so AC Black Flag Resynced will continue next week. The support for it is up and down. Sometimes we have a really slow stream, but then we actually had a very well-supported stream of it last time. So who knows what's going to happen with that playthrough. But it's been a fun, chill summertime event, and I'm going to continue with that over this next 1 or 2 weeks until we wrap it up. Then, another playthrough that we did continue on with was Dark Souls 2. Now, in this particular case, we need to talk about Dark Souls 2, okay? This has been a playthrough where I have applied this lighting mod, path tracing, that made this playthrough feel way different than the previous ones that I had done. It just looks way more like a modern game. However, Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, is probably the worst playing Dark Souls game of them all. It has weird mechanics that are only present in this game that make it very frustrating and annoying. And in addition, there's just really wonky things with hitboxes and certain areas of the game that are just overly difficult. But I've toughed through it, you know, even though I could barely see and I had to run around with a torch 90% of the playthrough. We've done it. We're at the end of the game. In fact, the only thing left to do is the 3 Dark Lurker dungeons and then fighting the Dark Lurker optional boss themselves. To fight Vendrick, now that I have all 4 of the old giant souls, we can now fight Vendrick and actually do damage to him. And then the end of the game, which is that final door in the Gladiator Castle that goes into that basement area and takes you out into the final area and then the final boss. Okay, so we don't have much left. We likely will complete the game today, unless I run into a lot of difficulty. We have to grind for fire butterflies, actually, in order to do the Dark Lurker stuff. So we'll see. But basically, we're at the end of the game. All right, 1 or 2 more streams, we're done. I have had a love-hate relationship with the game this time around, but I think in general, yes, I've enjoyed playing Dark Souls 2 because it's been the challenging game that I've been playing over a month now. Without Dark Souls 2, basically all the other games are kind of more relaxing, long, slow burn playthroughs, chill vibes and the like. This is the game that has the suspense and the challenge and the rage, right? And people like that for variety purposes. So I would like to continue playing Dark Souls 2. I would like to do the DLCs for it. There's 3 big DLCs for Dark Souls 2. It's different Crowns of the Kings, right? I think that's what it's called or something like that. And I particularly remember them being very challenging and annoying, but at the same time, they're pretty, they're pretty challenging and fun to watch. Now, here's the problem. Dark Souls 2's support has fallen off a cliff. All right, just being honest here. When we started off playing it a little over a month ago, people were very excited. They were coming by and supporting in droves, and it was working very well. And then all of a sudden, I'd argue like 2-3 weeks ago, it started slowing down. We started having streams where I was barely making $100. Then we started having streams under $100 of support. Now, I continued on because I said, listen, I like the game. I want to at least beat it. We've invested a lot of time in it. But we haven't really seen much improvement. Most streams of Dark Souls 2 just have not been doing as well, all right? Especially when I'm playing other games that are doing way better. It makes me ask the question, is it worth my time to continue playing Dark Souls 2 and its DLCs? Or do we just wrap it up, finish the main game, and say, okay, we're done, and move on and do other content for the rest of the summer, okay? We have many options. There's a lot of things going on right now that we could be partaking in that we're kind of holding off on because we've been doing other playthroughs, all right? So here's the deal. Here is the matter-of-fact situation right now. Today, it's Dark Souls 2, right after this podcast on this very stream, okay? If people show up, engage, and support with Dark Souls 2, and it's a well-supported stream, I will commit to doing a DLC next week. We'll actually start up one of the 3 DLCs. I'm not sure which one, but we'll start up one of the DLCs and go from there. What I might actually do is look up chronological order of which order they released and play them in that order. But that's only if we have a well-supported stream today. So here's, if you like Dark Souls 2 and you want it to continue and you've been asking the entire playthrough, will he do the DLCs? Today is the day to support this stream. All right? Whether it's some super chats, becoming a member, gifting some memberships, whether it's some kicks, whether it's becoming a sub or gifting some subs on Kick, or whether it's a tip via PayPal, however it might be, you got to support the stream today if you want it, okay? So today, if this stream is not well supported, and it's yet another slower Dark Souls 2 stream, we're done. We're just going to finish up the main, game, and we will move on to other content next week. That's perfectly fine. The way I see it, there's definitely a mix of people. Some people really like it. Some people don't like it and have gotten bored of it. And some people are in between, okay? But I got to do what the business wants. I got to do what the demand wants, People are asking me to do this, and I can't do them all. I got to do things that are worth my time. So let's see how today goes. If you want Dark Souls 2, you can support right now during this podcast. You can support when I'm playing the game, but be sure to support on this stream, okay? Cool. Okay, Dapian says, chronological would be Sunken King first, the Poison Dragon, arguably the worst DLC, laughing out loud. That's the one where you go down into this underground dungeon, and it's tough because there's all these bridges and enemies that are sniping you, and then there's the crazy tough dragon at the end, right? He's flying around attacking you at the end, you fight him. Yeah, I remember that DLC. Totally, I remember it. Okay. So, let's see how it goes. 220, thank you for 100 kicks. Okay. In fact, you know what? I'm going to pin a message about this. Here we go. I'm putting up 2 pinned messages so everyone knows what's going on in regards to that, okay? Cool. Okay, so continuing on. Let's talk about the other game that right now we are determining if we're going to continue on with or not. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. This week, we got so far in, we are almost 40 hours into this playthrough that's been going on for 2 months. It's the current Pokemon playthrough. It's actually the only Pokemon content I now have in the rotation because we stopped playing all the other Pokemon-related games, including Pokemon Champions, TCG Card Shop, and everything else. They all ended. This is the only Pokemon content that I'm putting out. But the same exact thing has happened with Pokemon as has happened with Dark Souls 2. Because I've been playing it for so long, basically, the support has dried up. The last stream we did a Pokemon, once again, ended up being very low support. And the weird part is, people are saying to me, are you going to do the post-game? There's post-game in this game. There's all these legendaries to catch. There's optional areas to go. And I'm like, I'm okay with doing post-game. Take a look at how, with Fire Red, we had a very well-supported end of the playthrough, and therefore I did all that post-game content that was available. I would be willing to do that once we beat the Elite Four, once we take out the champion, and, we're done with that. I would do more content, but you got to support it. So just as similar as what's going on right now on this stream, okay? On Sunday night, the late stream will be Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. And on that stream, okay, if it is well supported, if we got good attendance, I will commit and say, let's do some post-game content. Let's check it out. If that ends up being yet another slower stream of Pokemon, then we're going to wrap up that playthrough and we're going to do other content instead. Okay? So again, the power's in your hands. If you like these games and you want them to continue, show up to the appropriate streams and please support them. Let's see what happens on Sunday night with Pokemon and if we'll do post-game or not. Okay? Okay. Now, let's talk about the games this week that flopped, shall we? Let's do that. Let's address that elephant